What's going on, Soul Tribe? I salute the divinity in you, and welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and are you ready to set some intentions this week? This one might be a bit of a tougher one. We got some interesting energies coming through. We got the sun that's forming a square with the node. A lot of squares going on, nothing but squares. Sun squaring the nodes, and then we have Jupiter and Saturn coming into a new square energy. You know, they've been doing this between Gemini and Pisces, but now they're doing this in Cancer and Aries. And then this will be the last time that this happens before. Next time that they talk will be definitely a bit more movement there. But right now we're at that tension point. This is one of, I think, a really big turning point here, and we're going to talk about that all here in a moment. But if you're new here, again, my name is Justin, and one of the things that I do in this channel is talk about the celestial news weekly, the chit chat going on up in the sky, and those hand motions were supposed to sync up better than that. And I'm going to be covering the week of June 12th through the 18th, 2025, and let's jump into this thing. Because the first transit is going to happen on a Venus day. That's the 13th of June, and that's going to happen at 2:47, and it's the sun squaring the nodes. And this is happening at 22 degrees and 38 minutes. The sun is in Gemini, the north node is in Pisces, and the south node is in Virgo. Now, when you think about the the square as an aspect, that is a tension point. It's an energy that requires us to face any sort of challenges or any sort of stagnation in this sort of like Aries, Pisces, or not Aries, Gemini, Pisces, Virgo aspects of our charts. And sensing with that sun, do we feel that the things that we're doing, especially when we're looking at whatever theme you have the eighth house or whatever theme you have Pisces or Virgo in, what do we think about how we're moving, that Gemini energy? What do we think about the way that we're moving? Is this something that, how can we take the wisdom from the past and put it into application so that we can change how we feel we want to be in the future? But I like to think of it when any sort of celestial body is coming up on the nodes. This is like that fork in the road sort of point. This is again with that south node, because whenever the sun is squaring the north node, it's squaring the south node. And whenever we're looking at the south node, it's thinking about maybe our past or how maybe it's the wisdom that we've gotten from this house, the choices that we've made thus far, and then how are we going to continue our trajectory going forward, the north node? How do we feel that based on what we've been doing, does this feel like where we want to be? So this could be thinking about maybe this is going through like your financial axis, for example. Maybe this is between like your second or eighth house. You may be thinking about, okay, but these are the ways that maybe I've been spending my funds, and there's certain ways that I do like this and I want to improve on that, and there are other ways where I can get a little bit stronger in. Maybe you want to fix some debts, maybe you want to save up for a vehicle, save up for any sort of like big purchase. But this would be a great analyzing with that sun, just kind of doing some detective work, doing some research into how to, let's say, like if you want to change your finances, talking with financial advisors, things like that. Maybe there's something that's going on between your home space and your career. Maybe the place that you're living, you want to do this new job or whatever this is, you're changing your career and the location maybe doesn't support it, or maybe you're changing to something where you're working at home, and like how do you change your environment so that it fits that workspace? That could be a whole other thing. So again, apply it to your situation. Look again where you have Gemini, Pisces, and Virgo, and see how this may be coming up for you there. And again, this may just be looking at where maybe even too, because sometimes I think with the south node, where you can get into like a bit of a comfort zone. So see where maybe we've been, even explore the certain theme wherever you have that south node at, and see, let's say, okay, maybe you've been doing really good with your finances, but maybe there's something going on with like possessions. Maybe, they explore the other themes of this. What is your relationship with resources and things? Do you tend to hoard a lot, or do you not treat yourself enough because maybe you're just always saying, so explore that and see where maybe we're ready to tackle on something a bit harder, put ourselves under some healthy stress. I think that can be a good way to work with the nodes. So just some things to think about. Now let's get to the bigger one here. Because on a Sunday, the 15th of June, at about 7:36 a.m., and if I didn't mention that specific time, Jupiter is going to be forming a square with Saturn, and this is happening at 1 degree and 18 minutes. Big Papa's in Cancer, and Saturn is in Aries. Now, This is an interesting combination, I think, whenever Saturn and Jupiter are at these sort of tension points, because we're looking at expansion versus sort of that how do we expand and then how do we give that expansion form? You know what I mean? And I think that with this one, this is a cardinal square that is happening here. There's an initiatory energy. With Big Papa and Cancer, we could be feeling some bigger things now, some experiencing some bigger emotions, maybe some bigger dreams. Cancer is the root of emotions. And so now we're thinking about, maybe we're realizing that there are more possibilities out there. There are more ways for you to do whatever it is that you're wanting to do. And where that's a great feeling, Saturn is going to come through with that Aries. It's just like, okay, how do you have the energy for that? You want to become a CEO. There's a lot of work that comes with that. You have to temper your energy a certain type of way. You have to structure it a certain type of way, because Saturn, where Saturn's at, this is really testing our will. Okay, you want this thing, that you wanted this thing, how bad? And not in a way that Saturn's going to make you desperate, but I'm more so just like being realistic. Like, okay, if you want to become a guitar player, really put on a concerts, all these things, you have to put in the hours of practice. You have to start doing the networking, find people that you mesh with in your groups, then you have to find the venues. And then it's going to be work. There's going to be things where it's not just always being in the good feels, being in the big sort of like rush of the concert. You have to do the 10, 20, 30 performances. You have to do that thing over and over and over again, and to get it to that perfected state there. So this energy, to me, the visual that I was getting between this kind of water and fire energy of Cancer and Aries reminds me of how I would imagine like a sword is made. You're putting these metals under these extreme pressure, Saturn, this heat, Aries, and you're just like refining it. We're hammering it down. We're giving that sword form. And this metaphorical sword is your dream, or whatever your intentions are with this energy. And then Jupiter is where we go to cool that steel down, where we go to all the steam comes up, and then we go to pull it out, and a couple more kind of work out the kinks, and then we have ourselves a perfect sword. And perfect for us anyway. We put in this work here. And so this to me is like a forging energy right now. This is taking this, because this is a great spot for Jupiter. But even though Saturn they're like in opposite places right now. Jupiter's at its best and Saturn's at its I don't want to say worst, but kind of. It's like it's not in its best place. It's in its fall. And so the thing that could really get us into trouble with the Saturn as Aries is the stamina. I think it's the rushing of the things, wanting the impatience, to take the small victories in the growth that's going to be happening with us when Jupiter is over Cancer and over this next year. And I think that in trying to achieve that highest stating, and that doesn't happen overnight. That sometimes doesn't happen over a month. This could be some years' work that we're talking about here. But this is a great time to get a feel for what the results of that work could feel like, the potentialities of this thing. So I think that if really worked with this, and there's going to be some trial and error with this. It takes a blacksmith some time. It takes anything some time to get their craft and their trade down with this. So be patient with this energy. Really kind of feel this out again. See where you have Cancer and Aries in your chart, because it's going to get a bit smoother, especially once Jupiter moves into Leo next year. Then they'll be having a more harmonious conversation there, that you'll be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor and be able to sustain it in Leo. So this is a great time to explore be curious about where things are blossoming for you, where you feel that Jupiter and Cancer wanting you to feel exalted. And then with Saturn and Aries come at us like, okay, how can I take this feeling and make it indefinite? How do I make this spread this, really just milk this exaltation out here? Because I find even when a planet's in its fall, that doesn't mean that it's useless. I'm talking about Saturn. That can mean that, yeah, it just requires a bit more work. But when you push, it's those harsh points and those challenging points where I think we're really shine in a sense, because we had to get creative, we had to get innovative, we had to really push. So I think that this can be a very, maybe again, a bit of a tense energy this week, thinking about some bigger life questions and how to keep the enthusiasm, the optimism through this. And I think that again, this energy can bring in, even though it's Jupiter at its exalted, I don't think we want to be careful about being even fervent in our pursuits. Come with like a healthy optimism. Like say, okay, like I've been enjoying maybe doing these reports where I'm keeping track of my spending. I made a spreadsheet. It's all color coded. It's cute. And I'm noticing where things are starting to free up there. Or maybe now I'm working on my relationships. I'm building friends. I like this. Whatever. Again, that may look like for you, and just yeah. That's basically what I kind of got with this kind of square energy there. So there's some exciting stuff I think to think about here. And what an energy to end on. Well, this last aspect or this last transit that we're going to get into, because I think that this is going to take all of these sort of bigger questions that maybe you might be thinking about, how you're wanting to grow, what challenges or stagnations that you're ready to take, and then do some actual problem solving. Because and how appropriate. On a Mars day, the 17th of June, Mars is going to enter into Virgo, and this is going to happen at about 1:36 a.m. Now, Mars is the other malefic, of course, and it's the lesser malefic. But Mars here, Mars is just about our energy, our drive, our passions, our desires, how we find the courage to face adversities and things. And I find when Mars is in that place of frustration, of anger, of tension, is when it's being repressed or suppressed in some type of way. And so with this Virgo, I personally like Mars and Virgo. I think that I've seen a lot of people who have Mars and Virgo, and it's a very efficient energy when it's focused and it's channeled, because Virgo, they're ruled by Mercury, and they are the mutable air sign. They're receptive or yin in nature. And so with Virgo, they see the problem, they're analyzing the problem, they get that brain to working, and then it's just like, okay, I just got to do this, and that, and if I keep regularly doing that thing, then this is going to get me that result. And so this could be where, again, this is not, I think, an energy where Virgo sometimes can get, I think what can maybe deter this Mars energy is if we're trying to pursue perfection. We want to go for, like I said, with like refinement. This is something that we're just going to get better with practice. Maybe we didn't get that triple backflip pirouette the first time, but the 10th time, man, nailed it. So I think that's the kind of energy that you want to come into with this. I think that's a great way for, again, doing some kind of problem solving, putting the energies to work. And putting it in a work that really gets you in a routine. Because that's where I think that, and even and if you don't like the word routine, getting into the ritual of this act, of whatever you're trying to conjure, we're trying to make manifest. Because this is earth energy here. That you can take your passions, your desires, and that drive and put it into something. Make something, manifest. This is earth, again, earth energy. So over these next periods, I would even think too with Virgo, considering these things that we're going to be building up, you wanted to make sure to take care of the body, because this is the thing that's creating all of the stuff. This is a delicate tool that you're working with, this vessel. So that would be something too, just checking in with your energy levels. How have you been managing this fresh energy of, because again, we got new feelings coming through here with this Jupiter in Cancer. And that's going to kind of translate in once Saturn really kind of settles into Aries next year. But Jupiter will be kind of further along. We'll get some good feels for a little bit. They'll be in kind of a harmonious conversation when Saturn's in Pisces. But yeah, right now, figuring out how to juggle these giants right now, this expansion, and then how do you lock that expansion into something as opposed to just kind of spreading off into the nebulous. How do you make it, give it form, give it shape, give it structure. So yeah, I think that this would be a good time to get just kind of take care of the body, even seeing what you've been like, kind of just in general, what you've been just kind of eating, things like that. How's your sleep levels doing, and think about it in a way that works for you. I know we have like very standard of things. I was just talking with a Virgo actually about this not too long ago, where I have this like massive, got this massive water bottle here, And I grew up, my mom drinks a bunch of water, my stepdad drinks a bunch of water, and I drink a bunch of water, and I got a lot of Leo. And I work with a lot of drying herbs too, so I like to hydrate. But I was saying, like, this person was just like, oh, maybe I need to drink like a gallon. I was like, don't feel like it's like overwatering a plant. You don't want to do more than just like every plant, every body is different. And so this would be, I think, a great time too to just kind of get to know yourself again. Just kind of just kind of do an evaluation of you. Like, how's the body running? Could I be introducing a little bit more movement? Could I be, doing whatever sort of thing? And as always, whenever you have a planet that is entering into a new sign, new energy, you just want to see what house, house or houses that you have Virgo in, where Mars is going to be transiting. Is Virgo an active time for you? Do you have a lot of like Gemini placements or Sag placements or even Pisces placements? Those Sag and Gemini will be feeling those more sort of like challenging square type energies, where the Pisces energies more so is experiencing that opposition, kind of reconciling to opposing things and trying to find the best of both worlds here, making some decisions here, doing some analysis. So those would be the signs that would most sort of like potently feel this. But this could be a great time, especially if you have like Cancer, Scorpio. This could be replacements. This could be great kind of collaborative energies, doing some creative thinking, taking some initiative on some new projects, whatever that's looking like. Or even for like Taurus and Capricorn, movement, flow, ease. And in Virgo, love that. So you can really get some stuff there moving if you got placements like that there too. So that would be something to pay attention to as well. And yeah, just sort of last things here, if you have any sort of like points around these placements, around especially like, let's say 1 degree of the cardinal signs, that's going to be Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, or Aries. You want to watch out for that Jupiter-Saturn square, see how that may be influencing you there. And then with that Sun and North Node, we're looking at about 22 degrees of the mutable placements. That's Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. So yeah, and you may notice those transits more personally there. So there may be a bit more activity. So just kind of keep an eye on those energies. But overall, I think this is, once Mars is in Virgo, we'll have that sword down packed. It'll be ready for battle, ready to face whatever the universe has to throw our way. So let's get to training. And if you want to work with these what are we working with, these planets more personally, and just either kind of see what sort of maybe you're in like a Mars. I actually was just talking with someone, they're going through a Mars perfection year, and they were just in the middle of a transit, and it was kind of funny how it manifested. But that's, if you want to get eyes on what are some kind of potent times around there for you, what are some key transits to keep out for, what are maybe some auspicious dates to work with. Maybe you just want to get to know your chart just in general. Maybe you have Saturn, Jupiter squared in your chart. You want to know how that translates, or, whatever that maybe you got Mars and Virgo, want to work that a bit more efficiently. Down in the description box is my email. I'm kind of messing around with that. I'm doing some changes behind the scenes right now, so that'll eventually change, but my email will always be down there. So if you want to get in touch with me, you want to get further details on my questions and the services that I provide, definitely reach out. I'm always open for that, and comment down there. Tell us how you've been working through this transit, how you've been experiencing these things. Do you have any points around this thing, and how has this showed up for you? If you feel comfortable talking about this. And then what else? Oh, on this channel as well, I do the series talking about the different celestial bodies and different signs and different houses as this playlist, and just kind of my thoughts on them. So, and how I like to look at just some kind of general things when I'm working with the charts there. So that's also available for you. And I think that's all I got for you there. So until next time, stay mindful out there. Keep raising that vibration through the roof. And I will catch you. Oh, I gotta zip this up. On the next one. Just trying to look professional here. Later.